experience in the broadcast business over the last 10 years. Please email your phone number and resume to BigORadioshow@yahoo.com. That's BigORadioshow@yahoo.com. Looking for an aggressive person who can help our platform expand into many avenues in our business? Reach out if you are the person that's able to make a difference. When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. South Florida's premier law enforcement agency is now hiring individuals like you. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is now accepting applications for non-certified and certified police officer positions. Minimum requirements and qualifications can be found at flpdjobs.com. That's flpdjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer. The point statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yes! Welcome aboard to a beautiful and very happy post-game show from Sports Grill and Bird Road, where we've won 7 in a row, folks. 7 in a row. That's amazing. And all 7 while we were here at Sports Grill on Bird Road. That is crazy. 20-3 win over the Miami Dolphins. You know, it wasn't mistake-free football overall, but it was enough mistake-free football that gave you a comfortable win at 20-3. Miami's defense was absolutely awesome in this game. The offense did enough. Tua played a solid game, 19 of 26, 198 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. As Josh and Alexa V are making their way out. And we thank them and so many others that came by to hang out with us here at Sports Grow. And thank you all out there, by the way, for coming out to Sports Grow and some of the folks that are still hanging out here. But terrific game. We got to feel good overall about the team. It's 7 in a row. They're now 8-7 now. They have put themselves in a position where they can now really, take off in the next 2 weeks if they're able to beat, obviously, the Tennessee Titans next week, which will be here at Sports Grill starting off at 11 a.m. next Sunday. So make sure you join Sean and myself out here next Sunday doing our thing here at Sports Grill on Bird Road. But Tua played a solid game, had some nice passes, 19 of 26, 198 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Duke Johnson didn't have the kind of success he had last week, but that 10-yard run, right? That was the place went, ooh, wow, Duke out here at Sports Grill. It was fun, because that was actually pretty good. Lindsey helped out. He had 13 of 36. Gaskin 3 of 10. They didn't dominate on the ground, but they did enough. 30 for 86 yards, not an impressive number, obviously, but they did enough to kind of keep things honest. Jalen Waddle, what more can we say about the kid? 10 catches, 92 yards, a touchdown. Mac Hollins, man. Mac Hollins, all he does is make plays. One big catch downfield for 40 yards. That was impressive. And by the way, for you arm queens out there, that ball was in the air for 40 yards. Okay? So, you're so worried about a deep ball. Well, there, you got your deep ball. And I just wish Mac Hollins would play more. I don't know why they don't play him more. The guy averaged 40 yards a catch this week. I mean, and then on special teams, he helps put New Orleans at the 1 yard line when he pins that punt down. I mean, all he does is make plays. So impressive overall. Sacks, 8 sacks by the defense today. Jerome Baker had a sack and a half. Emmanuel Ogbah, which was my guy, had 2 sacks in the game today. And then Davis picked up half a sack. Xavier Howard picked up a sack. Byron Jones picked up a sack. Zach Sealer picked up a sack. Wilkins had half a sack. 8 sacks overall for the Miami Dolphins. Wilkins, by the way, Christian Wilkins had 7 tackles besides the half a sack also. And Jerome Baker continued his terrific play, had 6 tackles, 5 of them solo, had a sack and a half in the game. He is now playing a lot like he played last year when he was flying around the football. Omar Kelly, by the way, talked about it earlier in the week on our show. When I asked him who's that defensive player to look out for, Jerome Baker was the guy that he mentioned to look out for. So he was on target there in talking about a little bit about Baker. But there was listen, the best part was that they took care of business. In the end, none of what happened yesterday would have mattered if you lose tonight. And these are the moments that the Dolphins have screwed up for years, right? You're on the brink, you have an opportunity, and you just piss the game away. Well, they didn't do that today. Today they controlled the game pretty much from the get-go. You knew that defense was going to be able to control the Saints' offense. And that's exactly what ended up happening. They controlled that offense. And that was absolutely enormous by the team to be able to control that offense, because if you gave them any kind of confidence, it would have been a real negative for the Miami Dolphins, and it could have created a long night. But at no point did Ian Book get any confidence. At no point did Alvin Kamara get any confidence. At no point did Sean Payton feel he had any confidence in that offense and that they could get anything done. And what I loved was they attacked Ian Book. They confused Ian Book. They intercepted Ian Book. And it was really nice to see Nick Needham get the pick 6. That was absolutely awesome to see that. All right. It looks like our man, Alan Poupar, is ready with our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report.
Let's get ready to talk Dolphins football. It's the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupard. With locations throughout South Florida, Sports Grill is the home of the special grilled wings. Check out our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Alan Poupard.
To rock. He is Alan Poupar. Alan, how you doing, baby? You hanging in there? Feeling good?
Yep, feeling good.
Well, the boys, not the prettiest game on offense, but clean enough to get it done, and a dominant performance, which is what you needed from that defense going up against an offense with a 4-string quarterback, and not a lot of firepower there at this point in time with a 4-string quarterback, and obviously the injuries on the O-line too, the guys missing, which are enormous. The Dolphins did what they were supposed to do tonight.
No question. And that, to me, you put the combination with the rookie quarterback who's never thrown a regular season pass behind an offensive line that's not only missing stud starters like Ramczyk and Teron Armstead, but their backups on top of that. To me, it was impossible from the start to see any way where the Saints were going to do a whole lot of damage with their offense. It was just a matter of avoiding key mistakes. There was a one pick, but as I mentioned on Twitter, it was on 3rd down, and it is 39 yards down the field.
Right.
So it's a net punt of 39 yards. It wasn't catastrophic. You don't like to see an interception, but it wasn't it wasn't where it gave the Saints a short field. And you saw the Saints had one DC drive the entire game, and they were completely overwhelmed. Book looked overmatched, and you knew, and he looked confused, and he looked like happy feet when he was getting a rush of Dolphin defenders, which, in fairness to the kid, I mean, he was thrown in a really bad situation.
Oh yeah,
Against a really good defense.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, the good thing about having you on with me here is that you're a draftnik like I am. I didn't fear him from the get-go because at Notre Dame I never saw him develop as a passer. I always thought he was like a mediocre passer. You know what I mean? Tough as nails, a good athlete, can run, all that kind of stuff. And I knew that tonight, if the Dolphins did not allow Kamara to go off and allow Ian Book to get some easy yards, then there was no way he was going to build any kind of confidence and try to get a little short intermediate passing game going on. So for me, I knew he was so one-dimensional that you just had to stop that one dimension, and that's it. I didn't think that you could fear him, in other words.
No question. And it's not like he's got a stud wide receiver core on top of everything or a good tight end. I mean, their tight ends are pedestrian at best, and then one or two of them were on the COVID list. So, to me, the only issues on defense for the Dolphins, the guy to watch was Kamara. I mean, he can't run behind. When we talk about the Dolphin offensive line being bad, what New Orleans put out on the field tonight was pretty much the same deal.
I'm with you there, Alan. When you look at Tua's game today, how would you describe how he played today?
I mean, it was basically, vintage Tua. I mean, a lot of short throws, a couple of really nice passes. The bomb to Mike Holland was completely clutch because this was at a time where the Dolphins hadn't yet put them away. It was only 10-3 at the time, and it's 3rd and 9 from their 15. And he just threw a strike down the field, which is nice to see because you don't see that a whole lot from him. The pick was bad, not so much because Holland was completely covered, but because he also had Waddle open a little bit underneath for what would have been a significant gain as well. But, I mean, efficient again. A good solid performance. The Dolphin offense, though, it's not what's carrying the team. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The defense is carrying this team, and it's not even close. And if nobody can see that, I mean, I don't know what to say. And, of course, quarterback being the glamour position, like, for example, right now, I mean, ESPN just did the first post-game interview and interviewing Tua. Well, if I'm counting the stars of the game, I mean, Tua is way down the list. No offense to him, but it's a defense-driven team. The offense is basically main function is get out of the way, don't F this up for the defense, make life easier for them, and then let those guys rear back and do their thing. And I mean, they've done their thing. And had this been the pure New Orleans roster from the start of the season, yeah, it would have been a lot bigger challenge. But considering the team that they were facing tonight, you figure they dominate the game, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, talk about dominating. Jalen Waddle plays like he's a 5 or a 10-year veteran, my brother. I mean, it really is amazing because the ball's going to him, yet somehow or another, he's still catching it, and it doesn't matter who's covering him. It could be the team's number 1 corner or number 3 corner. Doesn't matter. He's going to get open one way or another.
Well, they didn't put the number 1 corner on him because I never saw Marshawn Lattimore anywhere close to him. I didn't really pay attention all that much. I'm going to guess he may have been on Parker the whole night, and Parker was targeted once. It was incomplete, not one catch. But, I mean, Waddle is here's the thing is with his speed, it's easy to get lost and start focusing on the fact that he doesn't have that many long catches. No, but what his speed allows him to do is get open all the time. So, I mean, say that for the kid. The kid's always open. And along with his speed and quickness, allowing him to do that, kudos to the offensive coaches for also putting him in situations to create space for him. Like his touchdown, great play call where the whole flow is going to Tua's left and he's coming from the right. And you saw he had one guy directly right in front of him, except his whole body weight's going the wrong way. Then there was another play where they motioned him behind Tua from Tua's left to his right, and then he wound up running up the right sideline. I don't know if it was a third down or what, but he was completely wide open. because the Saints weren't able to get somebody across. So it's a combination of everything, and the guy's just monstrously productive. Week in and week out, it never changes.
I'm with you there. I'm so impressed with the way this kid has handled the offense, and he has become, he's the center of the offense actually, and everybody knows that he's the center of the offense. The other thing that I wanted to ask you, when you look offensively overall, Mac Hollins makes one catch for 40 yards. He did a magnificent job of bodying the defender, because he kind of slowed up a little bit to make sure he kept the ball in front of him, which is a really, really smart receiver. And he used his body to make sure he shielded away from the defender. And again, the question I will ask you, like I've asked all season long, what the hell are these people doing, dude? Why isn't he playing more often? Why aren't you throwing more to this guy? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I mean, I don't understand it. He's a very productive player. No, and he's got speed. And ironically, though, we talk about not getting the ball often enough. The pick came on a pass that Tua tried to force into him when he went.
Yeah, there's three guys, man, around. There was no reason to throw that ball. That was a bad decision on his part.
No, it was. But going back to the original point, no, Mac Hollins is a quality receiver. I think they like Isaiah Ford a lot because Isaiah Ford knows every position, the X, the Y, and the Z, and he can help out in a different way. But if you notice, I didn't see Preston Williams out there at all tonight, so clearly Mac Hollins has supplanted him. And then I was very surprised to see Tommy Lee Lewis actually get involved in 2 plays on offense. I thought he was strictly a return specialist. It's actually interesting because I asked Brian Flores on Friday if he was going to think about elevating Tommy Lee Lewis to return kicks, and whether the fact that he played for the Saints for 4 years would play a factor in that. And he kind of like danced around the question because that's what they do. But lo and behold, he gets 2 plays on offense, which certainly I never saw coming.
Alan Poupart, by the way, joining us. Remember, you can follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL and catch his work there at Sports Illustrated. If you're a Dolphins fan, you've got to bookmark that page so you can follow all of the Dolphins stories. 8 sacks today. Now, you're supposed to get some sacks because you were playing against a depleted line. But overall, you got to really like that they did execute it overall, and they did attack Ian Book from every angle.
Yeah, and I'm not shocked that they got that many. It just kind of reminded me, if you remember the Cincinnati game last year, where the Bengals had all sorts of injuries on the offensive line, and the Dolphin defense just abused them. It was a game where Kyle Van Noy had 3 sacks. And remember the kid's name, Brandon Allen, I think might have been the quarterback. And they just kept pounding him, and it was merciless. And it was the same thing. There were sometimes tonight we almost felt bad for Book because he had guys coming at him. There was the one sack where Agba basically drilled him and kind of like hit him face to face. It was like, dude, man, help this poor kid.
By the way, Dolphins got lucky. They did not get a roughing the passer call because helmet to helmet, pretty much every time you will get that call. Agba got lucky, but it was a beautiful sack. The way he flew around the tackle and dove and got right on Book right away. That was actually a really, really nice play on his part. Duke Johnson did not have the same success he had last week, as expected, pretty much. But I will say, we here at Sports Grill, that 110-yard run that he busted up 2 dudes on it, the whole place was ooh and ah and everything. So people were loving that part of the run.
No, the kid and the dude runs hard, and Philip Lindsay had a couple of nice runs too. No, but as we mentioned, this wasn't the Jets that were playing, even though the Saints defense. This is the other part of the equation too that we talk about. All the guys that the Saints were missing on offense. I mean, they were missing some studs on defense too. Demario Davis, Quan Alexander, Malcolm Jenkins. So this was like a really shorthanded Saints team. And even at that, the Dolphins could never really get their running game going a lot. Really rough night for the offensive line, both in pass pro and in the run game. And if we look ahead, it's not going to get that much easier against the Titans either.
No, I'm with you there. By the way, did you realize or know that stat about Philip Lindsay when they thought he had fumbled and it really wasn't a fumble because he was already on the ground? They said it was up until that point, it was 678 touches and no fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
Kids never fumbled. That's impressive, dude. I didn't know that.
Another thing to like about the guy, and I think we saw tonight too, also with Savon Ahmed being inactive, kind of the pecking order there.
Oh, yeah, no. Savon Ahmed is pretty much done, unfortunately, with those guys. Now, you got to move forward. I think it's because I think you like Savon as a receiver, but as a runner, you're probably getting a little more from Duke and Lindsay right now. It's not like, dude, it was 30 rushes for 86 yards.
No, correct.
You weren't tearing it up, but tough yards. You're getting more out of those two guys probably out of the tough yards. But again, it wasn't another 100-yard night for Duke Johnson.
But they didn't need anything from the offense tonight, really. I mean, if we're going to be honest about it, so I mean, just don't lose a game. That was basically the mandate for the offense tonight.
I'm with you overall. What'd you think of the coaching today on both sides of the ball, and then also coming out of that what was it when they were deciding whether it was a catch or not, and they should have been ready, and they got.
That was weird. That whole sequence was weird because first of all, I didn't think it was a catch. Some people were arguing with me on Twitter because to me, it doesn't look like he doesn't really secure this, like bouncing off his leg, off his body, and then at late in the process, to me, it looked like it hit the ground. So I thought they were going to overturn it. They didn't, and then they don't start the clock. Let the Dolphins keep their time out. The whole thing was completely weird.
I disagree with you, by the way. I didn't think it hit the ground actually at all. It looked like a shadow of the ball was on the grass, but not the ball itself.
Well, I had these bad boys on when I was looking at it, and these are very strong. So now I don't have them. Now I can't see anything. So
I had these bad boys on that have laser surgery, baby.
There you
okay,
go.
All right. I can see the butthole of a blue jay 50 yards away now.
TMI.
Yeah, it's a little twitch.
Okay. Anyway, but we whatever. That's beside the point.
I threw him off with butthole of a blue jay.
Yes, you did, absolutely. Especially when I'm staring at my blue hat here. No, and it worked out in the Dolphins' favor anyway. The only problem was that they took a third down sack when Jesse Davis basically didn't even remotely try to slow down Cameron Jordan getting around him, and Tua never had a shot. Normally, it'd be like quarterback, you can't take a sack in that situation, but it's like I'm looking at the replay and dude never had a chance. I mean, Jordan's on top of him basically the second he's got the ball. So those were points left on the board. But again, if we're talking coaching, I certainly didn't like you're going to bring Jacoby Brissett for a 3rd and 1. Sneak the dude.
Yes.
Stop it with the fake handoff and the scramble outside. Sneak the dude. That's the reason he's in there. He's 6'4", or 6'3", 240, whatever he is. I mean, that to me makes no sense. Outside of that, and then once they didn't get it, I'm the one of those where I despise punts on 4th and 1 and all that. But the way the game was going, Saints offense was not going to hurt you. Punt. Don't give them a short field for no reason. So that was fine. Outside of that, no, I had no major issues with anything they did. And again, this wasn't really this was the type of game where don't try to outsmart yourself because you don't need to.
Right. I'm with you there. All right. What are you working on SI so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, right now it's going to be a whole lot of stuff tomorrow coming, like my normal post-game stuff, the 5 most significant plays of the game, the report card. We're going to analyze the snap count, who played how much and why. And then Flo's going to talk to us tomorrow, so we'll break down his comments. So there'll be there was a whole bunch of stuff on there today before the game because it's a night game and, getting late in the day. And then tomorrow we'll be right back at it.
Looking forward to it as always. Alan, thank you for taking some time, my brother. We'll catch up on Wednesday. Go Spos.
Sounds good. Talk to you later,
baby. There you go. Alan Poupar in our Sports Grill, Miami Dolphins Insider Report.
This has been the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report with Alan Poupard, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and never miss a report. Search Big O Radio Show on most platforms. Visit Sports Grill in our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza.
All right, we are back. Appreciate you as always. Appreciate Alan. Thank you, Leon Fresco. Thank you, giving us a little love there on the super chat as always. Thank you on a beautiful Monday night as the Miami Dolphins get it done against the what's it called? I'm forgetting the team that we're playing. The New Orleans Saints. Anyway, so good job against the Saints. Appreciate that the boys got it done. And listen, the worst thing would have been if you lose to the Saints with all these injuries. I mean, it would have been just absolutely brutal to end up losing that game. But overall, man, got to be happy. We will have the head coach press conference for you. We will have Brian Flores for you in just a couple of minutes. Hopefully, we will get Tua also on, and we'll get those press conferences going. Cameron Wolf should be joining us somewhere in the top of the hour. He'll be joining us. Omar Kelly also will be joining us. So we still got a lot of things to go over here at Sports Grill and go over here in the post-game show as they're wrapping it up here at Sports Grill. Appreciate all of you out there. And one guy says, "Oh, you've been drinking tonight?" No, man. I unfortunately have not been drinking. I haven't been drinking for years. I really wasn't much of a drinker ever anyways. Maybe a drink or two, not really much more than that. We need to change things up for next week. My brother, there isn't much to change up. They don't have a lot of options on offense. They don't have very good coaches on offense. It's a very limited offense, unfortunately. So there isn't a lot to shake up. It's really what Alan just said. You're living off of the defense. The defense is the one that has to dictate the game. The defense is the one that's going to have to make most of the major plays. Your offense is just not good enough at this point. And so until you get a line, until you get a running game that is a threat, you have to have things. Waddle is your only threat right now. And that kid only has a certain amount of time to get open. He's got to be open within a second and a half to 2 seconds, maybe 2.5 seconds if he's lucky, but Tua's got to get rid of it. So that's the problem. You can't expect much, one, from poor coaching, and two, from limitations that you have right now on your team due to talent or due to poor coaching, one of the two. So it's just one of those deals where in a perfect world, you'd love to change things up, but it's just not the reality, man. It's not going to happen. Dolphin fans are the worst. 7 straight games and an offense puts up 13 more points than Brady, and they're like, Tua is not the answer. I don't know who's saying that. Well, maybe I haven't been watching the chat board, so I don't know, man. Irv Gilliam, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Some love on the super chat. He says, another good win. It wasn't pretty, but a win is a win. Go Fins. Exactly. Look, we're not going to see a team going to win pretty. The Dolphins are not a pretty team. So now you're getting ahead of yourselves, some of you out there, and you're getting unrealistic. The idea was to win the game. I had a 17-9 game. I had a low-scoring 8-point win, get out of there, eke it out, and that's it. And they ended up winning by 17 points. That's super comfortable for them. But this is what they are. They're not going to – they're the style points. If you want Kansas City Chiefs-like style points, you're not getting it. If you want the St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf style points, you're not getting it. You want Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and Roger Craig, and you're not getting it. Okay? You're not getting Troy Aikman handing it off to Emmett and then going over the top to Michael Irving. You're not getting it. That's not what this offense is. That's not what this team is right now. This team is a gritty, blue-collar, limited offensive team that's just got to find ways to win. And next week in Tennessee, brother, just find a way to win the game. You are on the road. Any road game, any road win in the NFL is enormous. And now you're going to play a team that's a little better than the one that you played this week because they're going to be healthier. Okay? And they still have their starting quarterback. As much as I don't really think he's much of anything, he's not a fear factor. But the fear factor is the Dolphins' offense up against any decent defense. That's going to be the challenge. Miami's defense next week has got to dictate. The offense has got to do just enough to get by. So there's no changing up. There's no hoping for anything. This is who they are. We have to get over that. They have limitations, and they can only do what they can do to just get by. But they're not going to be special. They're not going to be a great team. They're not going to turn into a great offense. This is not a great coaching staff. None of that is going to change. There are limitations all over the place. And those are the things we got to live with, unfortunately. But it's 7 in a row. And you got a great chance to go 8 in a row and 9 in a row. And that's all that matters. I don't care how you do it and who scores. Just find a way to get it done. Manuel Malo, thank you, sir. A little love on the super chat. A win is a win. Who cares what the media says? We're still in it. Exactly. I'm with you there. Cody Gibbs, some love on the super chat. He says, what did this game tell you about Tua? Thanks again. It tells me that he's fine. I have no problem with Tua. He made one bad decision. He shouldn't have thrown to Matt Collins. There was 3 people around Matt Collins. But sometimes he'll do that. And that's part of being a young quarterback. Look, how many times did you see Ian Book today run out of bounds or get tackled behind the line of scrimmage when he had plenty of time to throw away the ball? He gave away like 3 sacks in this game. That's what young quarterbacks do. They're going to make mistakes, man. And Tua at that moment is trying to force the issue, and he paid the price. And he threw a terrible interception. Now, it didn't really turn into anything, real painful. So that's the good part about it, is that it didn't turn into something painful. If it would have, then we would have been a little disappointed by it. But, that wasn't the case. Jeff Babick, thank you, sir, giving us a little love on the Cash App. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Very nice of you. Remember, you can send in the donation at Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show if you want to send it in on Cash App or Venmo. Appreciate it. We have to take the same approach with Tannehill. Cover 0 Amoeba and punish him. Use Waddle more in the run game to use an east-west approach that will open up the play action and middle runs. It's just really, Jay, that sounds really good in theory what you're saying, my brother, but the line has to do their job. And that's the problem, man. The line isn't going to give the holes that they need on a consistent basis. Once in a while, they'll pull it off and they'll give you a look or two, and the running backs will be able to capitalize. But overall, they're not going to do their job. You remember early in the game where Tua on the 3rd down, a free blitzer comes off, and the guard, I believe it was Jackson at that moment, missed on it, and the guy was coming at Tua. Now, Tua still should have completed that pass to Gaskin, but he threw it a little wide. You know what I mean? And these are the things that the line does to the team. It doesn't allow you to run the ball. It doesn't allow Tua to have a clean pocket on a consistent basis. Remember, we talked a little bit about it this week, that we explained the importance of the guards in the center, especially with shorter quarterbacks, that when there is a weakness in the middle of that pocket and penetration comes in and it disrupts what young quarterbacks can do back there, or short quarterbacks can do back there, because it clouds what they do. So if the line cannot keep the space and block guys the way they're supposed to, and they're caving in, the passing lanes are caving in, all of a sudden it creates a problem for shorter quarterbacks. Taller quarterbacks don't have that issue. They're able to see over the top of the linemen. But shorter quarterbacks, they have a problem. That's why you want your linemen blocking where they're supposed to, because then there are passing lanes that you can see. And then you use those, the shorter quarterbacks use those passing lanes in practice and in games because they are able to read the routes the way they're supposed to. And shorter quarterbacks, remember, this is the freaky thing about shorter quarterbacks that a lot of people don't realize. They're throwing more to spots where receivers aren't there yet. And sometimes they're throwing to a spot and they're actually not seeing everything, but they're counting on the break being the same way they do it in practice every single time. That's why when a receiver runs the route short or long and the ball's underthrown or overthrown, sometimes you blame the quarterback, but sometimes it's the receiver's fault that didn't run the right route. But when you run it right, shorter quarterbacks sometimes are throwing to a spot that they're normally used to throwing. They're just making sure there's no defender in that spot when they're throwing it. But they anticipate that the receiver will be there. And in the one that I'm talking about before, it had nothing to do with that, but he had penetration in the middle, and then that disrupted what Tua had to do, and he had to hurry the throw, and in hurrying the throw, he didn't get a good throw off. And incomplete, drive is dead. So that's the problem. In theory, what you're saying, it sounds great, but the O-line has to do its part on, contributing and being able to meet you halfway so you can get that done. Manny J. Snow chiming in on a little super chat. He says, I would rub hot baby oil all over Hollins, and I'm serious about that. DJ Gallagher chiming in. He says, double play with Cash App. Oh, are the Dolphins a more recent version of the Ravens teams led by Ray Lewis who won the Super Bowl? Yeah, but not a defense like that. They got a good defense, but that's a generational defense. The one you're talking about with Ray. You know what I'm saying? So, and thank you. He put El Barbaro from DJ. Thank you. I appreciate you, my friend. That is very nice of you. Cash App or Venmo, it is Cash Big O Show. Herbert is absolutely doing well, but he is not the second coming, and he plays terribly anytime his receivers struggle to get separation and the run game isn't gashing. Big O, I want to shine some light on a certain player, and that player is Brandon Jones. Yeah, baby. Yeah, I'm a big Brandon Jones fan. I've been a Brandon Jones fan since last year. And my man Omar is not as big a fan. I think he's becoming a little bit more of a Brandon Jones fan, but I've been a fan of that kid since last year. I love the moxie that he plays with, man. He plays with a toughness. He wants to hit you, man. He wants to knock you into next week. He's a terrific blitzer. I'm with you, man. I love Brandon Jones. I think the front office has done a really nice job with Brandon Jones and Javon Holland. And you think about it, the front office got Minka, and the coach couldn't get along with Minka, and they were forced to trade him. And you're like, damn, we're forced to trade a Pro Bowl safety. And they go and draft another young Pro Bowl safety. I mean, the Dolphins have drafted two of the best young safeties in the NFL here in the last couple of years. I got Game in New Jersey chimes in with a little love on the super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. I got Game. David says, imagine Tua on a fully stocked Saints team. I'm sure Peyton is thinking this. If Miami is dumb enough to trade Tua, the Saints are the dance partner. I agree. I think Sean Payton would make Tua a star because he would know how to prepare the offense for Tua, and Tua would ball out. Kobe Black Mamba says, at this point, they want Tua to throw deep all game, not throw picks, and be able to run and block. If you're still doubting Tua, y'all just hate the kid. It's sad. Kobe, you, sir, are 1,000% right. I'm with you, man. You got to support the kid. The dude chimes in on the super chat. He says, come on, Watson. Just 2 more cases to settle. You guys are a trip. George Albany says, Holland and Jones complement each other quite well. Yeah, I'm with you. Alexander Rene Diaz says, check this stat out. The defense has not allowed a touchdown since 9 minutes in the second quarter of the Jets game. It's a good defense, man. It's definitely a good defense. Big O, we have not won 7 straight since 1985. Happy New Year. Yeah, but it's what you do with those 7 games is what counts. Okay? You go lose the next 2, the 7-game winning streak doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? That's why when people were asking me, what are we rooting for on Sunday? And I said, I don't care. None of it matters. You have to win on Monday for Sunday to matter. So first take care of business. Then you can say, okay, because if they lose tonight, all this crap that we talked about and everything that fell into place on Sunday meant nothing. So let's just keep winning. Let's watch them take care of business. That's all that matters. And let's see if you can actually do something with this. Because you got to finish it off. You got to get into the playoffs now. You got to beat Tennessee and you got to beat New England. That would be absolutely fantastic. Plus, you got to be here at Sports Grill at Bird Road for the next 2 games, because then that'll get us to the playoffs, and then you can come back here for the playoffs. I mean, we've won 7 in a row here at Bird Road. It's a beautiful thing. Justin Shelb chiming in on the super chat. He says, I've seen enough of Austin Jackson. Next week, I'm playing Solomon Kinley. He can't be any worse. Keep grinding, oh. Well, we will always keep grinding, my friend. And the Austin Jackson thing, what can I tell you? Solomon Kinley was on the COVID list, so he's got it clear for next week. The good thing is this strain looks like it goes through people a little quicker as long as you're vaxxed, and it looks like it's not as bad. So that's the beauty of this one strain that's out there. It's not like the other ones. That's the good thing. Clee Torres chiming in on a little super chat. He says, support local journalism. 560 sucks. Donkey nads. Yep, I would agree with that. Major sucking going on at 560. Tony Segala says the Dolphins offense wouldn't be any different with Watson, with this O-line and offensive coaches. I would agree with you on that. I don't think hell, he might get injured, because anybody behind this line could get injured. Mr. Spock says, anyone questioning whether Flo can lead a team to the promised land, take a look at the drive before halftime. The top team score on that drive and manage the clock better. Yeah, he's not a very good coach, but whatever. Anthony Petruant says the top 3 QBs of all time through the first 20 games, TD-wise, are Marino, Greasy, and Tua. Not bad company if you ask me. Yeah, but he hasn't even played 20 games. This is number 18. I saw that stat, but it's, come on, man. Daniel Grafton says, should see if Waffle House becomes sponsor and live stream from Waffle House. And if it happens, you can totally call it Waddle House. All right, let's call it Tua's house.
Closer to
and Tua
rookie
is
reception
addressing
record,
the
breaking
media.
all these franchise records.
Let's listen in.
Just the impact it's had on the offense. That's something that you could have seen back in summer workouts.
Well, I'm not a genie, so I'm not going to say that I did foresee that in Jalen's future, but I knew that he had a lot of potential. Of course, just being able to play with him at Alabama, and then also the OTAs that we've had together and leading up into training camp. He's done a really good job. You can just see his development within his understanding of coverages, his understanding of getting open fast against man coverage, and then blitz man and so forth. So, I think he's done a great job for us, and I did hear about his record, so congratulations to him.
Mark.
Hey, Tua, congratulations on the win. Let's walk through that interception pass that you had in the game. Could you walk us through what you saw on the field, and why did you go to Matt?
Yeah. just stepped up, and I thought I could give Mac a good back shoulder. Didn't expect him to break it across like it happened, but took a chance there. Obviously, we could have just hit the easier throw, the easier pass to Jalen on the in cut on that play, but it was what it was. I think our defense did outstanding, giving us opportunities that we obviously need to capitalize on. But that was that.
Joe?
Hey, Tua, you mentioned the Dolphins defense with 8 sacks, holding the opponent to 0 for 12 on third down. How does that impact the approach that you want to make, knowing how solid the defense has been?
Well, we always stress playing complementary football. So the defense giving the offense the ball back and the offense capitalizing on those turnovers. And then also in the kicking game, whether it's a punt, being able to back their team up and putting our defense in a good situation, and vice versa with our kick return and our punt return game. So it's definitely something that gives us life, whether it's the offense scoring on the first drive or scoring in general, or the defense getting a big third down stop or getting a turnover and scoring. It's definitely something that gives, I would say, this team life.
Thank you.
Jose?
Hi, Tua. I wanted to ask you about the throw in the third quarter to Mac Hollins. That seemed to be a big moment in the game. I just want to get your thoughts on that and the confidence that you have in him in making that catch. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence giving all our guys the ball. We ran that play flipped, going the same way. I think it was the first quarter, and I hit Jalen on that third down conversion, and coming back to the sideline, Mac was open. So we knew they'd have a plan to either double Jalen or force Jalen to break into the thief player, or their funnel player. So, when we did come back to it, thought I'd give Mac a shot on that. And I think he did a great job tracking the ball and catching it.
Ruthie?
Tua, you guys are the first team in NFL history to have 7 straight losses and 7 straight wins in the same season. What does that say about the character of this locker room?
I think it speaks a lot to the character of this locker room. A lot of the guys, like I've been saying, spend time with each other, outside of the locker room. And I think that's what, helps build the chemistry on the field for us. And I mean, it can only get stronger from here, I would say. So, it's hard to get a win on the road, especially in a hostile environment like this. But we'll take it, and we'll move on to who we're playing next week.
Thank you.
That's all we have time for. Thank you, Tua.
All right.
That is Tua Tagovailoa addressing the media. We will have Coach Flores whenever he is set to go. We'll hear what Coach Flores had to say about the win. We are awaiting Cameron Wolf of the NFL Network. He should be joining us sometime in this hour here. Also, Omar Kelly also should be joining us any minute now, also in this hour. So we will have Omar Kelly. Remember, if you want to chime in, 855-912-1056. That's the text line, 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the program, many ways to reach out to us. Also on Twitter at Big O Show is the other way that you can reach out to us. And of course, right here on the YouTube chat board, please smash the like button, man. We have over 1,200 people watching right now. Please smash the like button. Let's get this thing over 1,000 likes, man. Let's go. Let's bring it, man. Over 1,000, 1,200 people. Let's go. Let's bring those likes way up, please. That is something that gets the algorithms going, and we can get other people to find out about the show. So very important that you smash the hell out of that like button and get it going. Flo never says anything interesting. You're right. He's kind of shut down. What he would give you something early on, but now this year he's kind of gone into that mode where he really says like absolutely nothing. You are correct, but you never know. So we got to play it. You know, Tua is also a pretty safe guy too. He doesn't necessarily say a ton of things either, but you got to play it because you just never know. Let's see. What else do we have here? Red Horse Adventure says, I love how they keep smashing the Fins for the lack of quality teams they've beaten, yet the Titans lost to Jacksonville not too long ago. Yeah, no, you're right about that. And yesterday, the Chargers lost to the Texans, right? So you still got to win. Plenty of people lose to crappy teams. You know what I mean? Jacksonville's beaten a couple of teams this year. It's not just the Dolphins, unfortunately. All right. In the end, listen, they've won 7 in a row. They've put themselves in position to get into the playoffs now. They're 8-7. It's not the Dolphins' fault if other teams had a bigger lead and they've now lost games lately, and like the Chargers, and the Dolphins have caught up to them. You know, it's kind of the reverse, right? The Dolphins were terrible early on, and now they're finding ways to win. And we all said that the next 3 games, it's a little harder, tougher coaches. 2 of them are on the road. You got to get it done. Well, they got it done today. To complain about the Dolphins getting it done today would be ridiculous. You know, you got to love exactly what we've watched over the last, couple of weeks. They've done everything they possibly could. You're supposed to win the games. That's it. Tua showed guts and no memory of pick to complete that. Waddle, NFL Rookie of the Year. Getting on the text line. I couldn't have called it any better, somebody says on the show, on the text line, which I don't know what he means, but I would imagine he means that the way the game ended. Flores' game management was awful. He's really bad at these nuances of the game. It's a huge problem. He F's up constantly. Yeah, I agree. He's not a very good coach. Robert from Denver. What's up, baby? Robert from Denver has been here. Well, Robert, it wasn't this one, right? It was the Miami Lakes one, right, where we met you. So Robert from Denver, thank you, sir. He says 7 in a row. It's now Tannehill week. Can't wait for the Big O and Omar Tannehill all week. Yes, I'm with you there, man. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you out there, as always, looking out for us and supporting the show. Jay Hurd says, I don't believe much in makeup calls, but it's hard to believe the Liam Holding call wasn't a result of the Wilkins towel move. Can make refs look bad, and Wilkins played them. Yeah, whatever. Hey, the Dolphins got a break, too, with a cheesy call they gave the Saints also. So it happens, man. I mean, look, the Dolphins did what they were supposed to do. They won the game. That's all that matters, ladies and gentlemen. The rest is crap. They've won 7 in a row. Let's see. Game Drop says, you guys for clown. I tune in for the past 3 weeks, and all you do is complain about the wins and the coaching staff. Not once have I heard a single criticism about or QB. I just said earlier that there was a terrible interception he threw. It's a bad decision. Not sure. What do you want me to do? You know? Let's see. What else do we have here? George says, Big O being 100 here. Although our team is solid, they do have the obvious flaws that would get them exposed against the top teams. That said, they're definitely good enough to beat these next 2 teams. Hey, man, it's just getting in the playoffs, George. That's all right now. Like I told you, they're not going to be the greatest team, greatest show on turf and that kind of stuff. All right, there he is, the man that, has mastered saying absolutely nothing with incredible pregnant pauses. He is the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Here he is, Brian Flores.
Okay, we will start with Daniel.
Hey Brian, I know the season isn't over and you guys still have, at least 2 more games to play in the regular season, but to start 1-7 and to win 7 games and put yourself in a position where you just need to win and be in the playoffs, I guess, what do you want the overarching message to be for anyone that looks at your team and the turnaround that you've had this season?
I think this team stuck together really the entire year. I think obviously we dealt with a lot of adversity early in the year, and I think it revealed a lot revealed a lot. I would say it revealed the character of the guys in our locker room. Revealed that some people were with you and some people were on the fence. I think our guys just kept fighting. They kept sticking together, and I think they support each other. They work hard. They give great effort, and when you do those things, you put yourself in a position to get the results you're looking for.
David?
Coach, can you talk about your defensive approach against Ian Book making his NFL debut and Nick Needham's early pick six setting the tone in that regard?
Yeah, credit to Josh and the defensive staff putting together a nice game plan. Mixing coverages, mixing the fronts. Did a good job stopping the run, which was a big emphasis. Thought the guys just played. They played hard. They played fast. They gave great effort. We knew it was going to be a 16-minute game. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. It was a physical Saints team. Sean had them ready. Had made some adjustments in the game that then we had to make some adjustments. So I thought they had a good plan. We just made a few more plays than they did.
Joe?
Well, it was referenced a little bit earlier, but just to be more specific about it, the Dolphins are currently in playoff position with 2 games to play. What are your thoughts on the idea that the team does not have to rely on anybody else? Focus on the games ahead for the Dolphins.
I think the games, this week, we'll enjoy tonight, but the game ahead is going to be as tough as any game we're going to play. I've already taken a look at Tennessee. Obviously, I know Mike. I have a lot of respect for him. I know he'll have his guys ready. So, we'll enjoy tonight. I think our guys played it's a hard-fought 60-minute game. So we'll enjoy this one, and then we'll turn the page and get started on the next opponent.
Omar?
In terms of what this team has been able to accomplish winning 7 straight games, how difficult is that I know every game is a 1-game playoff situation and you have a linear focus on the season, but to win 7 straight games is kind of an accomplishment.
Yeah, I think it's really just 1 in a row, and that's really all we're trying to do. And that's kind of the approach, and I think our guys, kind of taking to that approach, and the preparation, how important the preparation is. I don't know who that is talking, but the preparation that's needed to get results in this league. There's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of work, a lot of working together. I think our, George, Eric, Danny, Josh, our coaching staff, he's done a nice job of putting together game plans and giving our guys a chance to have some success. The focus is to try to do it one more time.
Adam?
Hey, Flo, I wanted to get a little clarity in the answer you gave earlier. You said that, it revealed a lot about your locker room, revealed that some people were with you and some people were on the fence. Was that talking about people outside of the building or inside of the building?
Look, there's distractions always. And when, when things aren't going, your way, I think, it just reveals a lot about 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 a lot of things, I would say. Look, I've always had belief in this team, our players, our coaches. We maybe there were some people who didn't share that same belief, and I understand, why. But at the end of the day, it's not about anyone else. It's about the guys in that locker room, and the guys in our building, and the people in our building, and we believe in each other. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Thank you.
Any final questions? Great, thanks, Bo.
Yep.
There you go. That's the head coach, Brian Flores. All right, let's do this next. Let's get to Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
All right, baby, we are ready. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. How you hanging in there, Omar? You hanging in there?
I'm tired.
You look tired.
Long game, loud stadium. I gotta yell all game just to talk.
Why is the press box open?
It is open. Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's the worst. I hate the stadium, but
that's ridiculous. They have the press box open there.
Yeah.
Wow. I can understand the broadcast booth, why you want the ambiance and all that BS, but you have your headphones on and a microphone, so it doesn't matter if they're screaming. You know what I'm saying? But wow,
yeah.
That is wow. Okay, that is.
Yeah, there's certain venues. There's certain venues I do not look forward to. This just happens to be at the top of the list.
Okay. All right. I mean, hanging out in Bourbon Street is good, but that, I guess, is kind of a pain. All right. So, Omar, I mean, we got to be extremely happy as Dolphin fans, right? They got it done. They found a way to win the game, and they controlled it from beginning to end pretty much.
Yeah, would I love for the offense to play a little bit better, maybe score one more touchdown or turn a field goal in the touchdown, make it a little bit more confident of performance? Yeah, I would, but that was a dominant defensive performance. 0 for 12 on third downs, limiting them to 3 points. They had barely 100 yards most of the game, 8 sacks. I mean, I'm not sure it gets more. You can produce more of a dominant performance than the defense showed today. Yeah, and this is what I don't like. People will say, "Oh, look at the caliber of the opponent. Look at the caliber of the quarterbacks that they played." And I can say to you, it's hard to win any game in the NFL. Look at halftime. If it wasn't for Nick Needham, pick six, that score would have been tied. Look, and just like you said all week, their pass rushers are going to give these tackles some issues, and they were eating up this offensive line all game.
Yeah, no, they were, but they found ways to win, and that's really.
Yeah.
Listen, man, somebody said to me on the chat board, "Oh, the Dolphins got to change it up for next week." There's no change
up,
bro.
What? Change up what?
Right, exactly. You and I are on the same page. This is who they are, bro. They're the greatest show on turf is not showing up, man. It's just this isn't Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and all that.
What? Hold on. What are they supposed to change up? Change up to what? Like I'm like sitting here thinking to myself, like, okay, change up the backs. They changed up the backs.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what next can we change up? We can, today they used Gesicki as a tight end. That was horrible. It's just like I don't know how. Yeah, they do change up every single week, but I'm like, what can they change up and actually make things better? I could not tell you.
No, it's just that they have too many limitations, and it's just a blue-collar team that has to just go out there and try to do whatever they can to try to win a game. And you know what, dude?
Yeah,
They've done it for 7 weeks in a row. Let's give them, a ton of props that even with their limitations, they're finding ways to win. That's all that counts, man.
Nobody in NFL history, and I give Ruthie Polinsky credit for this because I'm sure it'll be in Brett's stats. I mean Brett's post game notes, but no team in NFL history has lost 7 straight games and then went on to win 7 straight games. I mean, that alone is an accomplishment itself. I mean, people were sticking a fork in Greer and Flores at 1-7. I mean, people were done with them. They can't return. There's no way. This is only a matter of time before the team quits on them. I knew that this team probably wasn't going to quit on Flores, but I didn't know the nature and caliber of how they would rebound or respond. It's quite impressive. People were like, "Oh, well, why weren't they playing this defense earlier in the season?" Well, they weren't playing that defense early in the season for a number of reasons and a number of factors and a number of issues and a lot of chemistry that needed to be built. But, give them credit. They have found a way to build that chemistry and found a way to play with some cohesiveness. During the 1-7 streak, you heard common themes like, okay, we gotta trust the man next to us. We gotta, not try to do too much. And they were consistent with it. And their actions are backed up. I mean, what they're saying is backed up by actions.
By the way, give you a little credit. I asked you, so what defensive players needs to be a big-time playmaker today? And you said Jerome Baker. And Jerome Baker had himself a game today.
Yeah.
He had a sack and a half, man. He had seven tackles in a second. Yeah, that was my pick. That was my pick.
Ogba had a $15 million a year game. He's a double-digit sack artist right now.
Yeah.
Like that's the starting bidding point. Yeah. Like we're at 40 million guaranteed right now. So I thought he was probably the most impressive guy. But Jerome, I didn't know. I knew Jerome was fast. I didn't know how fast he was chasing down Ian Book. That was some fast running right there. I don't know if you guys can get that view on television. But on the field, when you're looking, because we're looking from a nosebleed area, and you see Jerome close ground on Ian Book. I mean, they were just teeing off on Ian Book. He was dead man walking. He and 0 for 12 on third downs. I've never seen that. Never.
No, I think the stat was this was the first time in Peyton's career that he's never converted a third down. Sean, all of his teams have converted at least a third down in a game in his entire coaching career. This was the first team ever to never convert one.
Also, the first time ever he's coaching a team on its fourth quarterback, and with 20 COVID players out. Like, this season's gonna be crazy and wild. I'm dying to see what happens on next Sunday. Tannehill Bowl, baby.
Yeah, I know, but it's funny. All these players are picking up the perfect immunity because they've all got the vax, and now they're getting the COVID. So now they're getting more antibodies. And at least they'll be ready for the rest of the season and the postseason.
Whatever. By the time we get to next OTAs, because they just came out with a mandate that the media has to get a booster shot, which I wasn't necessarily planning on getting, but now it's mandatory. It's by the time we get to the season, good God, we're probably going to have 2 booster shots. We'll probably be on the Philippian variant of this disease of this illness. It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's amazing to me to see people on Bourbon Street no mask. People talk
Oh
about
yeah.
Miami, like Miami's wilding out. Like people on Bourbon Street, I didn't see no masks.
Yeah, no, of course not. There's no masks. No, of course not. And you know what? If you're vaxxed, this variant isn't too bad. So I guess a lot of people aren't too afraid of it at this point in time. Talk to me a little bit about Waddle, dude. I mean, the guy just continues to impress.
He's gonna he's on pace as long as he doesn't get hurt against Tennessee. He's gonna break Anquan Bolden's record. That's a record I didn't think would ever get touched. While I don't necessarily like his usage, I can definitely see what they're intending to do with him to create.
No, they have
And
no choice. They have no choice.
I know, but
They have no choice.
I would have loved to have seen him do more.
Dude, I'm with you, and so is every Dolphin on the planet. Our imaginations were that he was going to make more plays downfield, but unfortunately, because of this damn line, they just don't have the time, dude, to do that kind of stuff. And so, and you know what? I give him a lot of credit also, Omar, because if he had any diva in him, he would be like, man, screw all this short stuff, man. When am I going to get deep and, you know, all that kind of, and he has been the ultimate professional, and I give him a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, him and Tua, man, they just got such a there's just such a strange relationship. It's strange. It's like listening to their interactions. It's like passive aggressive. Like it's one of those weird friendships that you're like trying to figure it out. Like these guys like each.
They're just two good dudes. They're just good human beings, is what it is. It just looks like those are two young men that just look like they have a great foundation in their lives. Like their parents and their siblings.
I'm just talking about like how they're so passive aggressive with each other. They're I guess it's like their way of playing, but it comes across weird.
Right. Yeah. They're
It's
kind of like they're like two innocent dudes, bro. Those are two kids that you want your daughters to marry. You know what I mean? They're just good people, man. You know what I mean? You get good vibes from both guys. I mean, that's what I see.
They have a good bond. They have good chemistry. I like the offense because I like the RPO. I think it works. It would be great if you had weapons. I don't even know what happened to Devontae. I don't think he finished with the game with a catch. Like earlier today, I saw the trainers just like obsessing about Devontae. I don't know what happened to him or if he's okay, but I mean this is the season. We got 2 more games to go. Figure it out. Mac Hollins is making plays, and just figure it out. Just make it happen.
Well, as I kind of expected, Duke did not do much this week as a runner. But I will say, I will say
13 carries.
That 1 10-yard run where he put 2 guys on their asses, that was fun to watch. Okay, I mean, he kind of came back to reality against a tough team. I didn't expect him to run again, but that
2.9 yards per carry. Yeah.
No, but that one run was awesome. I will say the whole place went crazy here at Sports Grill. They loved it.
He had a big run. He had a big run again that got called back because of Austin Jackson, I believe. I'm not 100% sure which crappy offensive lineman committed a penalty.
No, I think you're right. I think it was Austin Jackson.
Yeah, that line, man. That line is trash. It's just trash. The whole unit trash.
I'm with you there. I'm with you.
Just Robert Hunt and the rest of it, just wipe it off the board. It's like, good God, can you get worse? And I heard all these people talking about analytics and how this site says they're the best, they're the second best line since their winning streak started. I'm like, are y'all watching the same goddamn team I'm watching?
No.
Quarterback doesn't have 1.7 seconds to throw the ball. Like
the problem with PFF is that those stats are very general and they don't really take into account who you're facing down in and down out.
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
backup, if it's a third stringer,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And one guy could have a great week, but he played against scrubs the whole week, and so you're giving him the same grade as a guy that went up against a Pro Bowler had the same week. And that's where it just doesn't fly, those stats.
I had an NFL executive tell me the same thing probably a decade ago, and just completely ended my obsession with Pro Football Focus numbers. She was like, "Listen, you gotta stop citing them. You gotta stop quoting them. You gotta stop obsessing about these grades." And then, funny enough, the whole league is obsessed with them, and agents use them for negotiations, and they're attached to Monday Night Football games or one of the Sunday Night Football games.
By the way, do you know who's part ownership of PFF?
Chris Collinsworth. Yes,
exactly.
I know. I'm more. Yeah. Well, he's not part ownership. He owns it.
Right. He owns
so,
it.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So he whores that off, and then everybody else follows through on it, and it is
the problem is there's no competition for it. So so
to compete against to do it right would be really tedious to do it. Really
they did it.
Tedious.
They did it. I mean,
but they're not doing it right. They're not doing it.
Yeah, I don't believe in. I mean, I believe in some of the things that they keep track of, like yards after the catch, yards, hits. Hits you've taken or yards after the contact. I believe in some of those numbers and metrics. The grades trash. But anyway, let me not start discrediting them. They'll come after me.
Oh, yeah.
With their army.
Of what? Anyway,
they have an army, bro. They have an army. It's the scouting, the college scouting. They moved into the college scouting worlds, and they've got computers and trackers. It's a monster now.
No, I know it's a monster, but whatever, man. I just it does nothing for me. Anyway, follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. More importantly, catch his work there also at the South Florida Sun Sentinel and subscribe to it. We will talk tomorrow morning, my friend. Go get some rest and safe travels back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right.
You got it. There you go. Omar Kelly and the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. When we come
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
There we go. We're gonna be joined by Cam Wolf now. We are waiting Cam Wolf from the NFL Network. Leon Fresco says media questions to Flo stink. Ask 1, why does O-line not improve? 2, why pass at end of first half? 3, why let players hug, shake hands, etc. with COVID Saints? That is a good point. No, don't go shake with them. They're polluted. Don't allow that to happen. They're polluted. Nalu Dolphin says the backs did enough to help, but what can you do with an O-line like what we have? A Matador as a right tackle and a turnstile at left guard. Can't argue with him, right? Unfortunately. Can't argue with him on that. Robin says, Mark, he wasn't throwing to Waddle. Did you even watch the game? Oh, okay. I don't know. You guys are talking to each other. Lou Tube says, offense keep to a Waddle, Gesicki, and DP. The rest, I'm not going to budge if we move on from them. The only thing that I disagree with you on is that I'm not ready to give up on the offensive lineman. I think you need a real coach first. Once you get a real offensive line coach, then I think you'll have that opportunity to actually measure those kind of players and then find out who can play and who can't play. I also think the offense would be a lot better and on this team if you had a better offensive coordinator. I think Tua would also be helped by a real quarterbacks coach. So to me, that's where Flo has absolutely crippled his team, that he doesn't have good offensive coaches. And then he also forced the front office to get rid of veteran offensive linemen that he had on the team that could have helped right now at this point. And so these are things that he has done to be a detriment to his own team. So that's really the problem. I'm not ready to look, man, all you have to do is look at all the offensive players that they're hitting on and look at all the defensive players they're hitting on. The only two guys that we don't know about is Noah and Hunter, and that's because they don't play. But every other draft pick is pretty much coming through. The only thing that's the weakness is the offensive line. And to me, again, I've said it over and over and over again, until you get a real offensive line coach, I don't think you'll ever know who can really play. That's, to me, the real problem there. Devin Jordan, thank you, sir. On the Super Chat, he says, Big O, it's so freaking obvious that Jesse Davis isn't a tackle. Amen to that. I keep saying Jesse is a sixth man. But somehow or another, this guy wants to keep starting him. And he easily could have kept some of the other veteran guys, and Jesse could have gone to the bench. But he didn't. And that's why they're in this problem. Tremolio says Austin Jackson is 20. He gave bone marrow to his sister. It's depleted his strength. Watch, in 2 years, he'll build his strength and will be good. Hell, Billy Turner's still playing in the NFL after we cut him. Now, it's been 2 years since he gave bone marrow. Tremolio. You know that, right? It's been 2 years. He gave bone marrow before his senior season. So he played his whole senior season. Then he played his whole first season. Now he's into season 3. So I listen, I'm not a doctor. I didn't sleep at a Ramada Inn or a Holiday Inn or a Hilton or anything last night. So I don't know how long it takes you to recover, but my brother, he's already on season 3 after bone marrow. So I'd love to give him a break, but I think what we really need to see is him being coached by a real coach. And then maybe we can get a feel for maybe he can play, maybe he can't. We don't know. Jack says, let's start London's scouting report with his most obvious attribute. Size, standing at 6'5". You don't have to look too hard to find the USC wide receiver amongst his teammates on tape. That size has some drawbacks. Okay. All right. I usually agree with you about the OCs, but you have to admit they called some good plays tonight. I don't know if they called some good plays tonight, but I mean, it's just, to me, I'm not that impressed with them. I can't say that I am overall. Love your show, Big O. Keep up the great job. Tell it like it is, my brother. Well, I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. I Got Games got Flo for Coach of the Year. Yeah. There we go. All right. Looks like Cam Wolf is ready. All right. With our Fort Lauderdale Police Department, NFL, and Miami Dolphins report.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and Miami Dolphins with our Fort Lauderdale Police Department Pro Football Report with insider Cameron Wolf. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is an equal opportunity employer. The department is now hiring uncertified and certified police officers. Go to flpdjobs.com. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All righty, there he is, Cameron Wolf. He's ready to go. I don't see him. What is he? Is he on phone now? Is what it is? We have audio only? Is that what it is? Cam, you there?
Hey, what's up, Big O? How you doing, man?
I am very good. All right, so it looks like we got the audio there. You're hooked. Good
Yes,
win
sir,
for the Hey, good win for the boys. You got to find a way to win, and that's exactly what they did, Cam.
Yeah, man, that defense is really special. That's a championship level defense, and you play a team that has their 4th-string quarterback, you make him look like the way they did tonight. You know, it made him look like he was a middle schooler out there trying to figure out ways to find passes. So I think you look at this Dolphins team, 7 straight wins. You could say the schedule was soft, but you can only win the games in front of you. So, you know, I saw enough from the defense to make me feel good about where they are going forward.
Yeah, hey, listen, man, we watched Justin Herbert, you know, pee in his pants this week against the Houston Texans. When they needed him, he threw a pick six, and it was over. So, you know, let's not get carried away here. Bottom line is you got to find a way to win, and the Dolphins found a way to win against the Texans. The Chargers didn't, and that's what's been a part of this 7-game winning streak. Doesn't matter who you beat or how you beat them, as long as you beat them. That's it.
Exactly. Win in advance. It's like just a tournament. You know, they don't give you style points. This isn't the BCS era game where you get style points if you beat a team by 50, you know, or if you score a lot of points. You just got to win in advance, especially in this COVID era where you're losing players left and right. So I'm very impressed. This is a team that you and me talked about this, Big O. At 1-7, we left them for dead. We thought this was a who's getting fired type deal, and now they're 8-7. The only team in NFL history to have 7 straight losses and 7 straight wins in the same season. So they're going to have the 2 hard challenges coming up with the Titans and the Patriots. But I'm really impressed on how they turned this thing around, and they look a lot like they did at their best last year, particularly defensively and offensively. The way they're getting Jalen Waddle involved has been very impressive too. So I think that it's a happy day for Dolphins fans going on the road against a tough defense and being able to get a 17-point win.
So let me ask you, Cam, why in the hell did you fly back, bro? I mean, Miami's going to Tennessee this week. Why not just stay there, enjoy a little extra barbecue, and wait for the Dolphins to get to you, dude?
I should have, man. I should have a second home in Nashville as much as I've been there this year, but I had to get home to Texas. It's holiday season. Spent some time here with the fam. The wife's birthday was yesterday, so we're trying to squeeze as many family element trips I can. So I'm back at it this week. Get back on TV tomorrow, and I'm back in Nashville on Saturday. So took a little break, and now we're about to get back into the action.
All right, so you know this is good that we have you on because obviously, you know, we've talked a lot about this victory, and it's been a terrific victory. Talking about it for the last hour and a half here on the show. Nobody knows Tennessee better than you do, my man. And we know Derrick Henry is not there. And Tennessee kind of, won an ugly game this week. They found ways to win. Obviously, Tannehill had that big run, and that obviously helped them overall to get the victory. But now the Dolphins are going to have to win this game again to keep those playoff hopes alive. This one is going to be a little bit tougher because they're still on their first-string quarterback, not their fourth-string quarterback.
Exactly. And Big O, I know you're going to love this matchup. You get to talk Tannehill and Tua all week. Those are 2 of your favorite topics to discuss. So that'll be fun, kind of building that up. And talk about storylines. You got Ryan Tannehill, who was here 7 years. He clearly wasn't the guy here. And I'm sure he's going to want to try to get some revenge on his old team, try to send them packing and end it at home. They got a chance to win the division as well. And you got the Dolphins who are trying to keep the dream alive. So I think this is going to be a really fun matchup. 2 of the best defenses that I've seen over the last month or two. When you look at both the Titans and the Dolphins defense, the pressure they do up front, it's going to be a tough challenge for the Dolphins with their defensive line. Jeffrey Simmons, the Titans defensive lineman, along with Harold Landry are 2 of the best young defensive linemen. So that Dolphins offensive line, which we saw struggled again tonight, is going to have their hands full. But like you said, no Derrick Henry. This is a Titans offense that's not as explosive. I think this Dolphins defense can really make Ryan Tannehill happy feet. As you know, Big O, this guy does not have great pocket presence. So if they blitz and they get a lot of pressure on him like he did with the rookie tonight, and I think it could be a long day for that Titans offense. So I'm excited for it. I think it could be a low-scoring game, but a lot of playoff intensity for that one.
Yeah, by the way, he doesn't have great pocket presence. he has no pocket presence. Hell, he took a couple of. I watched the game this past week. He took a couple of those ugly sacks that you're like, dude, don't you see it coming? You know what I mean? And I'm with you there. This is again one of those games where the offense is going to have to find a way to survive and stay away from the ugly turnovers, but the defense will have to dictate it once again, like they did tonight against New Orleans.
Exactly. You look at the way Tua has been played. I know we talk a lot about Tua and how you view this game, and he threw an interception tonight, and I saw it. It was a bad interception, an overthrow. They didn't throw a lot of balls down the field, but what I think you can say about Tua is what you can't say about Tannehill is his pocket presence. He makes the offensive line look a lot better than it is. Like, honestly, that's the worst offensive line in football to me, the Dolphins offensive line, and he avoids so many sacks. So I think this game is going to end up being which quarterback can be more efficient between Tua and Ryan Tannehill. And this is where you see another test of where your quarterback is stacking up with other quarterbacks in the league. Ryan Tannehill is probably an average, middle of the pack starting quarterback in the league. This is a game where you need Tua to outplay him, but it doesn't have to be a sexy game. You just have to be more efficient. Have one of the Tua games where he's throwing 70+ completion percentage, try not to turn over the ball, and avoid those sacks. And I think this is a game the Dolphins can win against the Titans. So I think there's going to be a lot of onus on Tua this week to do what he did a lot tonight with Jalen Waddle, but also be careful with that ball. He had another play where he got sacked, where he fumbled, and they got it lucky because Austin Jackson jumped on it. That's 2 turnover-worthy plays. You're playing a good opponent against the Titans. You're not going to be able to get away with that the way you were against the Saints tonight.
That one fumble, it's almost like you want to blame him, but then there's a part of me that doesn't want to blame him because he's in the middle, and he's in the middle of that crappy offensive line, and he didn't even see that guy coming. It was one of those. I kind of felt bad for him in a way because he's trying to make a play and he's trying to get through the trees, and there he goes and he gets clocked, man.
Sometimes you play superhero in that pocket and try to avoid all the sacks. You get got one time, and I think he just got. You could tell he didn't see Davenport coming. He has to be a little bit more secure with that ball, but that's sort of when people kind of criticize Tua about not throwing those deep passes. I look at plays like that where he's trying to look deep and he gets clamored. Like, what more do you want the guy to do? So I think that you're going to look at those plays and say, hey, let's just take the check down for that. Let's get rid of the ball a little quicker. Our offensive line clearly can't protect for us to try to get those long developing plays. So I think that when you look at this Titans defense, the way they're built, they're going to get a lot of pressure in the interior of that defensive line. So I think you're going to have a lot of the quick pass RPO game that Tua has been so good at, and getting Jalen involved in the open field. That's how you beat this team. This team this Sunday.
Cam, when you look at Tua overall and you look at his season, how would you grade it so far?
I think that I'd probably say it's a B plus maybe. I think when you look at Tua, what we wanted from him, Big O, what we talked about early in the season, is you wanted to see consistency and growth, but you also wanted to see him grab ownership of this team. And I was watching those guys as they were running off the field, jumping all over each other, excited, playing. That's a group that seems happy and excited that Tua is their quarterback. You look at the way he's played in situations. He threw that bad interception that we talked about, but the very next drive, he throws that 40-yard bomb down the sidelines to Mac Hollins. I think it was one of the best throws he's thrown this season. This guy knows how to step up in moments of adversity when his back's kind of against the wall. I think that's what you need to see from your quarterback. Like I said, if you want the sexy fantasy football numbers, he hasn't consistently done that yet, but I think I want a winner as a quarterback, and he's won. So I think that it's a B plus season for Tua so far. He's looked a lot better than what he was last year, and I don't even think last year was that bad. So I think that you're really seeing him become more comfortable and growing into, what I think we all thought he would be as a quarterback.
All right, one more before I let you go. Ogba picked up 2 sacks. He's got 9 on the season. 2 more games left. He'll probably get to double digits. Are you re-signing him?
Yeah, I definitely want to re-sign Ogba. I think that he is that key cog along with Jalen Phillips to have them that 1-2 pass rush duo that they've been trying to desperately find. I think they complement each other super well too, because Agba's more of the power rusher, whereas Jalen Phillips is more of the speed guy. And this is a stat for you, Big O, that I just saw about 5 minutes before I hopped on the show. The Dolphins actually lead the NFL in sacks.
Did I lose him there? I'm not hearing Cam.
One
Did
edge
you hear?
rusher.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Cam, you got to repeat there. I lost you there. What about the stat
Okay.
again? Say it again.
Yeah, so they're 45 sacks this year, more than any team in the league. When's the last time you heard the Dolphins leading the league in sacks? And I think a big reason why is because you've got Jalen Phillips and Agba together. Obviously, they blitz a lot, but Agba's a key cog you need for this defense. They're, in my opinion, nobody's playing better defensively over the last 7 weeks than the Dolphins, and Agba's a big piece of that. So I definitely think he's a key piece to bring home. Free agency's coming up. He's going to want that big bag, The problem is, can you pay him number one pass rusher money? Is he able to get that? Do you have to let him test the market and then come get him? They're going to have to figure out how willing they're going to risk it. But pass rushers don't grow on trees, and Agba's a great find. One of the real good Chris Greer signings. So they have to find a way to keep him.
I'm with you there. I love what I've seen from him. I love his effort all game long, every week this year. Even when the sacks weren't coming his way early in the season, he was still pressuring. His effort was second to none. I was so impressed with Agba. I have been impressed with Agba from moment one with him. And you're right. He's been one of the great finds overall. And by the way, the last time maybe the Dolphins were challenging was maybe when Jason Taylor and Adewale Ogunleye were tearing it up together or something. I think you'd have to go way back to then to maybe they were, at the top of the heap or challenging back in those days. Maybe.
Yeah, that's the good glory days. And this defense is trying to be as good as those guys were back in the day. So they're rolling their way.
Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf and catch him a couple times a week here with the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, Miami Dolphins, and NFL Report. Cam, thank you for taking some time, my man. You're a stud. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Big O, man. Get you some rest, and we'll go back after it this week.
You got it, baby. You be good out there.
All right,
thank you. There you go. Cameron Wolf. All right, good stuff there by Cam. We thank all the great folks out here at Sports Grill for making it nice and easy for us to do our thing. We'll be back here next Sunday at 11 a.m. with our pregame show, folks. All right, so appreciate all of you out there. Appreciate all the folks that came by and hung out with us tonight. We will see you tomorrow morning. As always, man, thanks to Sean Stanley. We thank Cam Wolf. We thank Omar Kelly. We thank Alan Poupar. We thank Dudley Durong and Joe Shad for joining us on the pregame show. And, of course, all of you out there for always tuning in. Don't forget to smash the like button before you get out. Please smash that like button. It's very important. If you're listening on the podcast, also smash the like button. We will see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.